It's 1 a.m. in the morning, you're tired, you have work tomorrow, but you want to be a programmer, you want to be a developer, you're tired of your crap job, and you want something that challenges you. You want something less physically demanding, more mentally stimulating. You want to build, you want to create, you want a future for yourself. And you work hard, and you study hard, and you practice, and you apply to all the jobs. Is this the phone screening interview today? Or is this the one where I have to do a code test and meet the team? You're not sure. You get declined for both jobs. And then after 25 interviews, it's pretty hard to be positive. You start second guessing yourself. Is this for me? Am I too dumb to do these things? It must not be for me. It's just you start giving up. But then you land an interview with your dream job and you finally make it. It's the day you've been looking forward to. It's fantastic. Hopefully your life changes dramatically and you've managed to put yourself into a better spot in life. You don't have to choose between utilities or food anymore. You don't have to choose between paying your phone bill or getting gas so that you can go to the job that you hate. That's over with. You're done. You've made it. You have a job in the industry. You have learned the skills to earn your way up in life. Despite what you may think, my motto is not all dev jobs are trash, all corporate jobs are trash. That's not. Get a job, learn the skills, and look out for yourself. And to different people, looking out for yourself means different things. For some of you, it might mean work your way up to the top of a company. For some of you, it might mean realizing you don't want to do this for 8 hours a day. For some of you, it might mean starting a business with the skills that you've learned. And the reason that I'm saying all this is because I realize that sometimes I can come off kind of negative or very blunt. I see a lot of comments that say, all you do is complain, Josh. All you do is whine about things and whine about corporate. And, some people like working for other people. Okay, that is fantastic. I just don't sugarcoat things. My intent isn't to say all CEOs are garbage, all companies can't be trusted, having a good day at work is impossible. I don't think that at all. I've met good CEOs, people that have good ethics, that treat their people right, very transparent with their company. I've had days at work at my jobs where I enjoyed what I did. I mean, there weren't that many for me specifically, but there were days where I came home, I was like, man, that was a good day. All I try to say in these videos is to look out for yourself first. If someone is giving you a paycheck, you have to understand that your livelihood is in their hands. The reason that I talk how I do is because I want you to know that can be taken away at any time. The smart people in the comments that say, well, that's just business, Josh. You understand it's agreement between the employee and the employer, and your job as an employee is to make the employer profit. You're right. Very good. But most of us don't know that yet. Most of us coming out of college, most of us coming out of co-boot camps, most of us that have only worked like retail or in the food service industry or just like menial jobs. And so when you're new to this phase of life, it's really easy to just fall into the comfort of a job. It's easy to fall into the routine of feeling like you have a paycheck on the way because you have a salary now and it's not hourly anymore, so you don't have to clock in and clock out. That's not the reality of the situation. Having a job is just as unsafe as doing something yourself. You can enjoy your job at work and do your best to not become dependent on the place that you're working. Yes, they give you an opportunity. Yes, they changed your life. You always have to ask yourself, if this was gone tomorrow, what would I do? For a lot of people, that is a very stressful question at first. They have no idea what they would do. They don't know how to make $1, only how to receive $1. But once you start to realize you have skills and you can kind of put it all together and that you have abilities and you know what you would do if my job just were to disappear tomorrow, that's confidence. That's freedom. I don't need your paycheck. Yes, I need the money, but I don't need your paycheck because I can go get another one or I can make my own. That is the confidence and the freedom that I always kind of talk about, your ability to be independent. When you have that kind of confidence, you can't be threatened. You can't be tethered to a job. You have options. And when you have options, life is a lot less stressful. If a door closes, another one opens up. And if another one doesn't open up, hey, great, you know how to make your own door and open that and go that way. Even if you have a job, apply for jobs once a week on the weekends. You don't have to take the interviews. You don't have to take the jobs but you'll have their emails and you'll have someone to reach out to if you ever need that email, if you do get let go or you quit your job. I mean, you guys know how it is. It takes time to get their responses rolling in anyways. It can take 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 6 months sometimes. You apply and they respond. You already have your next new job and they're like, we'd like to bring you in for an interview. And you're like, now you respond? I'm sure you guys looking for jobs know how that feels. But when you are already applying to jobs, even when you have a job, you don't have to go through that phase anymore. They're already in there. They're already in the emails. You just respond and say, hey, is that position still available? I'd like to talk about it. Any other opportunities available? It's really easy to keep that momentum going behind the scenes than it is to get started if they just cut you off and let you go. For myself and many other people new to this professional life and this corporate world, no one tells us these things. No one tells us that the person signing your offer letter, shaking your hand, smiling, and welcoming you to the team will be the same person walking you to the door once they've decided to go a different direction. No one tells us that working 120 hours to look good won't make you look good, because the company will think that 120 hours of work per week will be your default state and make it difficult for you to take a break once you do burn out. No one tells us that when they say a company meeting is optional, it's not really optional. It's just a test to see how loyal you are. No one tells us that when the company says they want someone they can count on, that doesn't mean good worker. That means uncompensated overtime. I'm sure we all know a family that had parents that worked one job their whole life and they worked their way up and they made it to 65 and they got their pension and they got their retirement and they were fine. Right? But that isn't the world that you and I live in anymore, especially not in this niche, not in technology. One day a framework exists and another day it's gone. This should be written somewhere for everyone who decides to learn how to code or go to a code boot camp, or just they see the outcomes of these new salaries and these new jobs and these day in the life videos. But your job and your life security depends on your ability to stay up to date with your skills and the ability to sell yourself. There's this thing called proprietary software, which basically means you learn skills that won't translate. So if you're out there and you get a job that's using some software that you've never heard of and you can't Google, it's probably because the company invented it. And now, if you ever want to leave that company and you spend a majority of your time learning that skill or software that is unique to that company, you won't be able to transfer it. You'll only have soft skills, and when you put that on your resume, they won't know what that means, and you won't be allowed to talk about it because it's intellectual property and you probably signed a non-disclosure agreement. Take everything I say with a grain of salt. Obviously, I like to over-exaggerate things with corporate cringe videos, and obviously, I like to make fun of corporate and CEO antics and just really big, kind of greedy companies where employees are obviously treated like children. There are good companies out there, but you won't find them on LinkedIn posting these videos. You won't find them by looking up hashtag company culture or hashtag values or perks. You won't find good companies that way. The good companies don't post things like that. They post the description of their job. They're open-minded in the description, and then you have to apply and find out, because they don't want people applying to jobs just for the perks. That's not a good idea. They want people to apply to the job to help benefit the company and grow their skills. And then when you get the interview, they'll tell you about all their cool perks. Those are the good companies, the ones that you don't hear about, the ones that aren't loud about it. Again, I know I can come across kind of harsh, but I would rather you find out now this is what can happen to you, because it's happened to me, than find out once you just leased a new car and now you're depending on that job to be able to pay your car, and then they let you go and now you can't pay that car anymore, or any other number of things that could happen to you to make you realize, holy crap, these people called me company family. Like, you don't have to be overly suspicious of people's intentions, but just be aware that these things can happen, and I would just kind of say follow your gut feeling. If things aren't quite adding up, if they're not quite transparent enough with you, if they don't tell you how to grow, if they don't tell you that you're meeting your marks, if they don't have objective ways to measure your progress. For example, Patrick from Lambda School, he has what I would call a good job. He has measurable milestones to see whether or not he's benefiting the company. It's not just like increased productivity, because how do you measure that? What does that actually mean? Does that mean you did more tickets? Because that wouldn't be very fair, because some are harder than others. You can't measure it like that. So his job says, hey, these are the milestones. You successfully started with this technology, and then you learned this technology, and then this is how you get a raise. You successfully led this team and delivered this project on time, under budget. Very measurable things like that. That is a good job. You know what you're doing, you know how you're providing to the company, and you know how the company is providing to you, and you're very aware of the business relationship, and then it's easier to enjoy your work. I just want you to look out for yourself in every possible way. So get a job, learn the skills, and look out for yourself. If you want to climb the corporate ladder, fantastic. If you want to make your own company, fantastic. Just don't get comfortable with feeling the niceties that it's easy for you to feel when you're new to the industry and you're like, wow, they really do care about me and they're going to take care of me until I'm 65. And no, probably not. I think I've been maybe misunderstood, but I don't hate all jobs. And if you want to work a job, that's fantastic. But for my specific personality type, it just doesn't vibe with me. But for you guys that do enjoy it, hey, more power to you. Hope you guys had a good Thanksgiving. I hope you guys have a great weekend. And hopefully this provides more clarification on where I'm coming from. So when I make these other videos, it kind of makes more sense. Okay, I'm out.